And if you noticed, if you were watching on the simulcast of the radio program that you can listen coast to coast to, you can also find us on where we're throttled to where like we get like maybe 3 views on X. X has so throttled us it's almost pointless to even engage on that hellscape. Or if you're watching on YouTube, Rumble, or Facebook, the redhead that was standing next to Robert De Niro was Jesse Plemons. Yeah, Black Mirror, Kirsten Dunst's husband. He's in Fargo, all of that. He was standing right next to Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro was going off on these pro-Hamas protesters in New York. And he was saying, in what he was telling them was that Hamas said, they're going to do it again, talking about Hamas on October 7th. And he's like, nobody wants that. And he was telling them that what they were saying was nonsense and yelling at them. Broken clocks can be right, twice a day. They can be correct.
I suspect that they were protesters shouting some dumb stuff while they were trying to film something.
Yeah, because they are filming. I can't remember what movie they said it was, but they're filming something. I can't remember what they said it was, but so he's out there. They were, I guess, on set, and they came over, and he starts yelling at him, and he had security around them, and you can tell, like the lady in the video with the bun, and she's legit security because they all have special pins and all this stuff, and I can tell by her jacket, it'll be let out a little bit in the middle because it's covering her Glock or what, her service pistol, whatever she's carrying. Usually I think for the ladies it's a Glock. But yeah, he had security there and he was mad. He was, I mean, when you start turning people like Robert De Niro against you, you're not doing too well. But they don't care because they already got the administration. So they don't care. It's far too gone for, think about this. Joe Biden, has he even tweeted any kind of condemnation for this? Because he tweets all the time about J6 stuff, and he tweeted all the time about Charlottesville. And say, whatever you want with Charlottesville, that was a 2-day thing. This is more than a 2-day thing. Thankfully, nobody's been killed. But I would say not because there wasn't a will from some of these terrorist rioters to kill somebody, but he hasn't condemned it. I mean, they had, and I was trying to figure out there wasn't a source for it. I mean, a name for it, but the administration had come out and said that the president condemns the use of the word infantada, which, they're talking about when they're saying they want globalized infantada. They want a war. They want a genocide of Israel. That's what they're talking about. Just like when they talk about from the river to the sea, that means from the River Jordan all the way through what is Israel, all the way to the Mediterranean, thereby eliminating that sovereign nation. So they're talking about completely eliminating an entire people. And the administration came out and said, oh, Joe Biden condemns the use of infantada, use of the word infantada. Why couldn't he tweet that? Why does it have to be some unnamed stooge from the administration that says, well, Joe Biden says, why can't Joe Biden tweet it? I mean, this desiccated meat sack tweets about everything else. Why can't he come out and tweet about it? Why can't he say something? He got off Marine One. Have you seen the latest trick that his people do so that you can't see him stumbling all over the damn lawn trying to get back to the White House? He gets off Marine One. They've never done this for any other president. They have never done this for any other leader because it gets in the way of their photo op, right? That's like your badass signature walking pose. When you're walking out of Marine One, you salute and you go up to the White House. That's where everybody likes the photo ops, right? No. What Joe Biden's people are doing is they race towards him. They circle around him to block the cameras so that you can't see him stumbling back to the White House. No joke. I've never seen anything like that before. I was listening to some old dude, and he's kind of a moderate Democrat. And he was saying that he'd worked in previous administrations, saying he had never seen anything like that before. So when Marine One lands, they race around him and they encircle him so that you can't see him walking around. This is him walking out to the helicopter, but it lands in a different spot. I think is what I don't know if there's like a hill there. Or I don't know why but they have all of his aides, and that's not all of them. Like there have been videos where you have all these people in suits, women in their wedges running out on the. It's crazy, but they don't want you to see him falling all over the place. So I mean, he could say something like that. He could walk over to reporters while he's exiting Marine One. Like, do you remember Trump did that all the time? In fact, when Trump did it, one of my favorite, you could not have written this. I think I put this up on Instagram because I could not believe how everything just came together in that moment for the most honest, unedited soundbite and staging ever. And it was right after Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, And the press, Trump just got, as Trump got off Marine One, he was at a fundraiser, or he was leaving a fundraiser. And they had, Didn't they have Candle in the Wind from Elton John playing over the PA system? Oh. And the press asked him about that. Trump's like, oh, that's too bad. It was the most surreal video. Not a single thing was edited. But he would go over all the time. I mean, Obama did. Clinton did. They went over there all the time and they talked to all the reporters. Biden could walk over there and say, yeah, you know what? This is ridiculous, what I'm seeing on these college campuses. But he won't do it because he doesn't want to lose Michigan. You know, that uncommitted vote? They're actually worried about that. And I think this is why he's made this proposal. The White House is considering bringing in Gazan refugees. And as you know, I don't say the word Palestinian because that's a fake word. Just like I don't call a guy who tucks up his schlong and call him a woman because he wants to wear lipstick and say that he's a woman. I don't do that because I believe in science. I also believe in history. Palestine is a non-existent fictional place that's made up by terrorists to try to go after their neighbor to the north. It has never existed at any point in history. It is not supported by antiquity, and in fact, it was named as out of spite by Hadrian after the Second Judean Uprising, and it was named after the Jews' enemies at the time, which were actual sailors from Crete. And they hadn't been in the area in like 200 years anyway. So there you go. So I don't say that word. I say Gazans because that's the location, so that's what we call it. So the White House wants to relocate Gazans as refugees. Oh, yes. They are proposing bringing Gazans to the U.S. as refugees. They said that they want to offer a permanent safe haven. And these documents were internal documents obtained by CBS. And they said that several senior officials across numerous federal agencies have been discussing options to bring in Gazans to the United States. And they want to use the decades-old United States Refugee Admission Program. I will tell you right now, I do not want anyone who voted for Hamas in my country. Nor should you. There's a reason why Egypt refuses to take them. There's a reason why Qatar refuses to take them. Well, they'll only take the Hamas leaders. There's a reason why Lebanon won't take them, why Syria won't take them, why Saudi Arabia won't take them, why the entirety of the Arab League won't take them. There's a very good reason why. It's not the United States' responsibility to shelter and admit as refugees people who voted for Hamas or anybody else. It's not our responsibility. That's the Arab League. If you want charity, you go with your hat in hand and you go ask the Arab League. Go and impress upon Egypt and Jordan and Syria and Lebanon and UAE and Qatar and Yemen and Saudi Arabia. You go and impress upon every member nation of the Arab League and you demand that they accept these Gazan refugees because the United States sure as hell doesn't owe anyone a thing. They won't even tell you what how many it would be. They don't even tell you. They said that the planes would require coordination with Egypt, and Egypt has outright refused to accept refugees. In fact, every one of those nations I just mentioned did. Do you want to know why? Because there's a history that when you accept those refugees, people who vote for terrorists, people who overwhelmingly support terrorists, people who think that terrorism is acceptable forms of resistance, and they define resistance as anyone that exists that we don't like, it creates problems. It created massive problems in Lebanon. The people who are unaware of this think it's no big deal. The people who don't know history think that it's no big deal. They should go back and read what happened the last time some of these other nations, which is why they don't take them, when some of these other nations accepted these refugees. Go back and read what happened. And so that's what the Biden administration is proposing. They want to resettle these refugees. I don't think they're refugees. It's not my fault. When you have this elected form of government, you're being represented by them. That's what it is. Now they say, well, it might be a relatively small number of people. I don't care. No. And so the United States continues to be, for some bizarre reason, the largest contributor of humanitarian aid to Gaza, which is basically all going to Hamas. Again, where's the Arab League on this? This is what the Biden administration does. We'll pay for and take care of all your problems, and we'll even volunteer to be used as a proxy force between Shia and Sunni over in the Middle East. But, oh, heaven forbid, it's okay if you don't want to give us more oil because we're too stupid to drill it for ourselves. It's okay. This administration cucks itself. It is. It's the cuck administration. And their policies want to turn us into the United States of cucks. No, thank you.